we are. We're back with episode 2 of the Flatlander Show. This is so exciting. Episode 2 brought to you by Flatlander Studio. I'm your host, Megan Thome, and the founder and managing partner of brand for the Flatlander Studio. And I'm with my illustrious colleague, co-founder, and managing partner of product of Flatlander Studio, Nate Voss.
Oh, hi. Thank you. Yes,
Hi.
It's me. I'm Nate Voss. Managing partner of product design background, making things with Megan, including this show.
Okay, so last time we met at this table was our debut episode, and we talked a little bit about origin stories. We talked a little bit about personal philosophies, just scratching the surface, right?
Just getting a few fun stories out of this.
So if you missed it, go look for the on-demand recording.
Go look for that on YouTube. Megan spent a lot of time working on these videos. You guys got to get out there. We need you.
And today we're going to talk about some spicy news, right? For the first half, segment 1, I'll call it segment 1.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Canva's new announcement with Affinity.
Canva and Affinity.
It's going to be
rolling out.
It's spicy.
What else is on the docket?
And then
the spicy menu.
And then MVPs. Not the baseball, football kind, but minimum viable products, which is in your world, right? And so you get to school me on what I think I know about MVPs and maybe kind of what people get wrong, what people get right, and what it means now.
Do people get things right about MVPs?
I don't know. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, boy, are we. Looking forward to this one.
So, as always, though, as you listen, drop comments, drop questions in the chat, and we will do our best to answer at the end. Or do we want to take him anytime?
We'll see. I like to respond to a chat as it goes. I got chat over here. I got camera here. I got chat there. I got Megan here. We'll see.
Okay. Yes. So, drop your comments, questions in the chat. That's what we want. Okay. You ready to talk Canva?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start there.
You say, "Are you ready to talk Canva?" And I say, "Are you ready to talk Affinity?"
Affinity. Well, yeah.
And that's great because we're coming at this from a couple different sides.
Yes. So just as a reminder, my discipline is strategy and writing. Nate's discipline is design and all things digital products. So you have been in Affinity far more and design programs far more than I have. I'm a hack. Right. So I like to call myself a hack, but I'm in Canva. So I think it's kind of this marriage, right, of more pro side and amateur side fusing the best together.
Let's say an accessible side with Canva, because Canva is less professional at this point.
It's grown. It's grown.
Yeah.
Just to give you the lay of the land here. So last week, 2 weeks ago, end of October,
right
Canva,
after our first show.
Yeah, Canva announced that they are offering the all-new Affinity software package. So Affinity is a combo pack of photo editing, vector design, and let's say layout,
publishing layout. Yeah.
Page layouts.
To compare via Adobe, it is Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, but called different things like designer, publisher. I think it's publisher. I didn't get that one because we're not doing a lot of books.
I think it's new now. It's vector, pixel, and I forget layout.
So now it's just Affinity. It's one thing.
Yes.
You download one piece of software
and you get
right here.
all three of those. Yeah. Those programs. So, but the big news is it's part of Canva and it is free forever. I feel like it's kind of David Goliath, right? I feel like it's the little guy against this monolith of Adobe Creative Cloud, which offers Photoshop, Illustrator, Design, and
100
but 100 more, right? Stock photography.
That are all bad.
Is it bad? Is it bad?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
You let me know when it's...
But
kick off on Adobe
just to
here.
level set for marketers out there who might not be in these programs. So Adobe owns stock photography. It owns After Effects, Dreamweaver, Premiere for video, film editing. My favorite's Behance, right? The portfolio site that I get really inspired by. In 2021, it acquired Frame.io.
It's got Frame.io? I always call those EOs.
In 2020, it acquired Workfront, which I used as a project management tool way back in the way back. So this is what I'm seeing. Like it's We already knew it was a behemoth.
The Figma thing got blocked.
It got blocked. Tell me.
All designers were joyous that day. That was literally the Adobe guy. It might have still been on Twitter. Twitter might have still been a healthy place at that point. I don't know if it was, but it was somewhere, and it was like the VP of Adobe. They probably got 100 of them. I was like, this is great, and we're so excited to be acquiring Figma. And every response was like, no one likes this. We all hate this, and we all hate you.
Why? Why did people hate it?
Well, okay, because let's go back. Back in the day, Adobe had a few programs. You know, John Knoll was one of the inventors of Photoshop. John Knoll went on to like make Industrial Light and Magic and did
big things,
like all of the Star Wars effects, and is you know, generally I think known to be good people, and eventually they started acquiring some things. The first bad thing that Adobe did was they bought Macromedia. They wanted Flash, and everybody thinks now of Flash as being an Adobe program, but originally that was made by Macromedia, and it played very, very well with a great program called Freehand, which was better than Illustrator.
I remember that.
You could put multiple strokes on a single object. Oh my God, everything about Freehand was better, and they killed Freehand because they had Illustrator. So they bought Macromedia for Flash, killed their competitor, and I was like, that's a little sketch. I don't like that. But at the time, they also developed InDesign. One of the worst design programs of the aughts was Quark or Quark Express. And, you know, we learned it. We went to college for that. We all used it, and it was just a real unruly, nasty piece of software. And then InDesign came out. And it was like Unicorn Valley and rainbows, and we all danced through. It's like, hey, there's the Adobe sun. We're all so happy. Don't worry, I'm here kicking cameras. And it was so great and so successful, and everything just really started happening. And then after, I think, CS5, somewhere around there, Creative Cloud happened.
Yes.
And then
I remember Bridge.
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
I couldn't even care to type in to find out if it is. It might have been. It might be. God, if you're out there on Bridge, drop a comment. Okay, so then it was, you know, the summary of this is a line that never left me, you know, that also I saw on probably early Twitter, and it was like, hey, do you like buying Photoshop? Well, how would you like to pay us in perpetuity every single month?
This is what gets me. And I just brought this whole life of subscriptions up. I can't do it anymore. I can't buy every little thing every month all the time.
Yeah, sidebar, I think we're ready to see subscriptions start to die, and I am happy to start supporting that.
Maybe this is it.
Perhaps
in the beginning.
Perhaps in the things that we make. We have a subscription app right now, and if you are a paying subscriber to InTimer, the Sports Timer app for guarantees equals playtime for kids on your sports team, we love you. You let us know what you want in that app, and I'll get it to you. Okay.
Shameless plug.
But after that, they just exploded. Adobe became the monster. If they weren't already on their way, Adobe became the monster that they once slayed. And Creative Cloud became a very expensive trap. They own all your files. All your files are online.
It does feel like a trap.
All the things, and it's very expensive, and it's very difficult to get out of, and it's very difficult to get away from. And they keep packing on value adds like Behance or Adobe Fonts or Adobe Stock and things of that nature. But it still is, we're locking you into this ecosystem so that you. Let me rephrase that, so that we become a tax on the creative industry. There's an Adobe tax, and like, we're just going to take, depending on how many people you have and how many seats, we're just going to take a lot of the money from your studio
because there's nowhere else for you to go,
because you've got no alternatives, because it's a monopoly, which is why Figma was blocked. Ultimately, the US government came through and said, haha, no, and also none of us wanted that. So that was a good win in a world where good wins are
in short supply.
In short supply. Not long after that, oh boy, this was a year and a half ago now. Boy, did you see Figma launch a whole lot of new features and a whole lot of new AI announcements, and now they got slides, and look at all the stuff that Figma can do now. Investors, please, investors, look at all the features we have. Won't you please just look at Figma now that we're not going to get bought? So yeah, that was an awful thing that was stopped. Anyway, and by the way, that's my take on Adobe. So when we founded this studio with the resources with which it was founded, it was a very
grassroots bootstrap. That's us.
It was a very short deliberation of, I think, and you could probably go back in I'm not sure what social media channels I'm on anymore, but I know there's at least one of me saying, oh my God, we've all been paying how much for Creative Cloud? It was just like, it would have been, as a small business, we have insurance, we have bills, we have things outside of just needing to pay for design software. It would have absolutely been our biggest monthly bill without any hesitation. And it was a hard no, and it was a panic on my end to be like, what's
the alternative?
Yeah, I need to be able to design things that even with all their shiny new features that Figma is just not going to do. Everyone, even then, I feel so good about this now. Everyone, even then, was like, that's Affinity. Affinity, okay. And I downloaded, and I still have them here, because at the time, this was so great. This was right after Figma's big AI push, and they were like, hey, what we're going to do, gang, let me tell you all about design software. So Figma, in a part of that huge push, was like, we've got AI. And so what we're going to do is we're going to read all of your files. And all those design systems that every product designer has spent the last 5 years making, and labeling everything accurately and building it in reliable, dependable, uniform ways that an AI can very easily read and digest and then regurgitate.
No.
We're just going to do that. You can click a toggle and we'll tell you that we're not going to do it, but there's no real way to prove.
I know. Do you have to agree to this?
Oh God, no, I never checked that. So, I turned the toggle off, but I don't believe for a moment.
I don't believe it either.
So as that was happening, the gang at Affinity, God love them, was like, hey, would you like, how long was it? 3 months or 6 months free? Like, they did this enormous free trial and slashed the one-time fee. It was incredible. So I got Affinity Designer 2 and Affinity Photo 2.
For us. For the studio?
For the studio. Well, for me, because you were like, I don't need that. But yes, for the studio. On a huge free trial at a drastically reduced price, and we have that software forever, like you used to be able to do.
You bought it outright. And it is on your
for nothing.
Device.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Got it. And so we've been using that, and I found that it was very easy to pick up.
That's what I think the big question is. How good is Affinity?
Oh, it's real good. It's in some ways a little weird if you're very used to the Adobe thing. Here's the problem that I have. So years ago at big agency, but after you left, when I went all mobile, I got moved from all of Adobe into just Sketch. And Sketch was it, and Sketch with, here's a product design focused tool, and it gets all that extra crap out of your way, and it doesn't have Chrome filters, and it doesn't have photo adjustments. So in 2016, I left Adobe software pretty hard and never looked back. There are things that even if I opened up Photoshop right now today, I'd be like, that's weird. Why doesn't the shift key work like it used to? That's weird. Why is this different? Because in 9 or 10 years, enough small changes have added up that it's all weird to me now to come back to it. But I did find the learning curve for Affinity software to be very low if you're already familiar with professional design software. That'll come back up in a second. And then the knowledge base was there. So if I'm like, wait, how do you rotate something around the point? And you go online and there's a guy talking about that, and you grab the little thing and you put it there, and then you rotate around point. If you look at Flatlander design, there's a lot of rotate around point stuff, so I had to get that one figured out. But it's been great. I haven't had anything that I've tried to do. There is one. Okay, there's one thing. the Photoshop liquefy stuff has come a real long way. So now you can literally, I've only ever used this once when I was at my last job before founding Flatlander. And you can be, they've got controls that are like, tuck in that chin. Yeah. Like make them smile 10%. Like they've got that level of control right there in the software. Affinity does not have that. So their liquefy stuff. Yeah, probably yet. And I think that they will get there. That's been the only thing that I found that isn't there. And everything else that we've designed for Flatlander has been done in that, with the exception of product design stuff, which we're still using Figma for.
That's amazing.
So Megan, here's my question. So Figma came out. I've been talking for a while, so I want to get your hot take on this. All right. Figma came out, and it was free. And it was basically as feature-rich as Sketch at the time, which is the one with the little yellow diamond versus the one with colorful dots that make an F. And they were both product design software suites that mimic a phone, or the way that software goes together so that it's easy to make designs that can be handed to developers. Figma had some online collaboration tools where you could be in the document, and I would have a coworker who's in Ukraine, and she's working on it, and I'm working on it, and we're working on it at the same time. That's really neat. But the fact that it was free, and it used to be more free than it is now, that was a huge, huge point for adoption for any company that was not already decades into paying for design software. Those people might still feel very locked to Adobe. Any new place, do you, when you look at the situation we were in, we could pay a lot of money for Adobe, but the Affinity and Canva set, which is basically functionally identical, is free.
For now, forever. For now,
they say forever. Does that adoption take place?
Yeah. I mean, this climate, this economy. Yeah. I mean, where AI is basically forcing many companies to hemorrhage a lot of work staff, maybe we're going to get more independent contractors, independent designers.
I love that.
Who have limited financial resources. Yeah, this is it. This is the time. This is it.
Starting a new studio. Can we do it with? Well, and then right before all of this came out, what were you and I doing? I was making assets in Affinity and bringing them into Canva to give to you.
Yep. Or even just job before job. It was Canva. I was in an in-house marketing department, and there was no budget. There was no budget for Adobe Cloud. Not at all. So we had to gimp along well, as an in-house B2B marketing team. We got by on Canva fine. Was it the sexiest stuff that I've ever made? No, but it got the job done. And in B2B, and to just be present with content or present with social, it got the job done. Now, the flip side is, and I think they've come a long way, when I first entered the Canva space, it was the templification, templatized world, and everything look the same, right? The saming of social and the saming of brand personality and all of that kind of stuff. I think there's better, and I think there's better just in the last 6 months. I feel like they've gotten better. I was just in Canva looking for what's new and their Affinity interface, and it's just nice. It is a nice experience to learn something new in Canva now. And I like the way, this sounds really weird, but I feel like they are listening. They are listening to designers. They are listening to their subscribers. They're listening and they're acting on that. And that's what this whole thing is about. If they acquired Affinity last year, I think when they came out, they said, we're going to retain these subscriptions. This is fine. And so this idea of flipping the script and making it free, and not only that, but coming out with the announcement during Adobe Max.
Was that the timing of it? Because
yes!
I don't pay attention to Adobe Max.
Yes.
Oh, that must have been apocalyptic.
I mean, like the sheer marketing genius behind that.
No, you know what that throws me back to, Megan? Like, I'm pretty sure Apple announced the original iPhone during CES, and like Microsoft was at the CES with the Zune, and like, oh, check out the Zune, and then the next day, Steve Jobs online. It's a phone. It's a internet communicator, and it's a it was a phone, internet communicator, and a
music
player.
Yeah.
And then
it's the same baller move.
God.
Like, it is the same thing.
Good. So good.
And I always root for the underdog. That's just kind of who I am. So I'm super excited about where this is going to go and what this is going to mean, because there are things now in the Canva platform. And this is where I'm like, oh, I hope they can retain that human first, people first, customer first approach, because I'm kind of just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Right? Like, it's free forever for now, like, until they get so big, right? Because this is what happens.
If Canva continues to get big, that's fine. But they can always have, and they get bigger if professionals have an inroad to basically do what I did over the last few weeks, which is just use professional software to deliver assets into it that the rest of the team can take from there. And then your professionals have professional grade software. Your team, your content teams can just deliver content without shipping it off to whole other people. So the idea, I think, is we've got a professional tool set for those people who need it, but Canva is still the thing.
Yeah.
And eventually in 25 years, yes, we will be celebrating whoever comes along to slay the demon that Canva becomes. But for now, love them.
I know.
Couldn't
It's
be better.
so good. And for right now, Affinity is still downloaded on your local machine. That's how you're working on things. And Canva is the sharing platform, the holding platform of whatever you're going to upload.
This is my first experience using Canva, but I've seen. I remember when it was template land.
Yeah,
it was like, and you could just know and look and say, "Oh, that was made in Canva." But
no, it's getting so much better. I mean, even just designing ads and then publishing ads to your channels. I mean, that's happening now with Canva. Planning all your socials, publishing from social. I feel like that's going to start, getting into Later and Buffer and all of these other experts. I'm just holding my breath because platforms do what platforms do when they get big. Yeah. There's this book I've only read excerpts, but it's called, and if you have young ears, you may want to pause. It's called Enshitification.
Oh, yes, I know about it. Yes.
Yeah, by Cory Doctorow. So there's, I
need to read it. I
know.
feel like I live it every day. Like, I'm aware that everything, oh God, and I sound like such an old saying this, but like things, like chocolate is worse.
Everything's worse.
Like everything's worse.
My hubs and I talk about this a lot, especially since COVID. I don't know what happened, but everything just feels, again, pause for young ears, shittier.
Yeah.
Every experience, everything. And I think it is the growth factor because, well, like all that Google stuff, right? That came out with the two execs going back and forth, basically enshittifying Google search because
I heard about that the other day.
Yeah, you could make more money by having to search 2 or 3 times. You could serve more ads and just a shittier experience for us. But they're so big with a 90% market share. They're so big. Where else are you going to go? I mean, you could go to Bing, I guess, or you could go on there's a couple front pages to de-shitify the search, almost like reverse engineer with a front page, but Google is still doing the search behind the scenes. It's very strange. It's very strange.
Sit down and cook up a search engine, somebody. Maybe Flatlander. Maybe we need to make Flatlander search. Was just a couple people sitting around and coming up with PageRank and putting nothing else on the screen. That can be done.
And you mentioned Adobe. I mean, we've seen Enshitification there too, but remember what they did with Pantone? Right? Didn't they they used to be able to talk with Pantone colors, and you used to be able to
it worked a lot. There was a moment in time where it was very silky smooth.
They pulled the Pantone PMS colors out, and then you had to pay $21 a month to get
God, that's right.
Pantone access. I'm not in Photoshop. I'm not in Adobe, so I don't know.
You know who's got those Pantone colors, and there's Affinity.
Affinity.
Yeah.
Okay. All All right, so
I'll bet, though, that was not their minimum viable product, was it, Megan?
I hope not. I hope not. Okay, so speaking of minimum viable products.
I'm so happy to just be anywhere just bashing Adobe software. But also, Affinity's been real good to us. I like using it, so.
Yeah,
okay.
Shout out. Okay, segment 2, minimum viable products. Will you just tell me in your words, what is it? What is a minimum viable product? Because I feel like it's all over the board, and I just need this is it.
Okay. I feel like I want to bring the lights down. I definitely. Heck, God, if I could do, because we've got be right back. I can, and then I come right back. But go grab a scotch. Tell you, bring the lights down. Okay, minimum viable products are a well-intentioned scourge on the product digital, especially the digital product industry. And I don't want to speak too much about like industrial design and different products. For a lot of those, if you're selling a candy bar, you really got to make the candy bar, right? You can't just
a version of the candy bar.
So a minimum viable product would be somebody saying, we could probably ship a Snickers with just a peanut.
One?
We could probably we'll sell a peanut. What did they say? Oh, they said they want some nougat with it. What's nougat? I don't know, but let's put it in there. Okay. What did they say? Oh, little sliver of caramel in between them. You know what? I had an idea. What if we wrap that whole thing in chocolate and make it big? And we can make a whole bunch of them and sell them. That's a sort of a minimal viable product. That's terrible. Sounds terrible. It's a way to say, let's ship the smallest valuable thing.
It's a thing, though, right? You're making it. It's not just an idea.
No, it is a thing.
It is a thing.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
A minimal viable product is a real product that ships with as little to it as can deliver value to your customers and your business. I always like to have 3 circles in that Venn diagram and say that it should also deliver value to your brand. That perfect Venn diagram is a big part of my product expertise. If it does too much, you risk overdeveloping something that the market doesn't want. Okay? Mm-hmm. If it does too little and only delivers value to your business but not your customers will ignore it and your product will fail. If it only delivers enough value to your customers and doesn't deliver any value to your company will fail. People will love your product, but your company will
because it's too expensive,
run out of money.
It
won't bring it. Well, not because it's too expensive, but because it's not bringing in any value to you as a company, which is usually money. So there's a fine line to walk in there about what is minimal. People love it. Okay, in practice, so that's the theory, gang. Okay, but in practice, product managers love the minimal. They really get their head around that part.
Yep, little.
The valuable or viable side. Some people say, I had a team member who was really fond of minimum lovable product, but that's okay. But the point still stands about not making any money for your business and your business family. The viable part, where it delivers value to you and your customers, that gets struggled with a lot. And then there is what happens after that initial release. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. So first question, what's the difference between an MVP and a prototype?
Okay.
Versus a release one?
Right. A prototype does not get shipped. A prototype is something that you make internally to test internally.
Internally only.
Yeah. Generally speaking. Now you can test. You can do some like usability testing or some user-facing testing with a prototype. That's fine.
Okay.
But that's not a release product. You're not going to sell that in a store. You wouldn't send that to Target if you were making widgets. You wouldn't send that to the App Store.
And so the difference there would be visuals. The difference there would be silky smoothness. The difference there would be UI, UX. Like what?
All of the above.
Okay.
It depends on what you want to test with that prototype. Do you want to test functionality? Then it might look terrible but work. That, by the way, is where we're at with our second product.
Okay.
And if you want to test silky smoothness but not necessarily functionality, you might stick in dummy data or like not real stuff, but have the UI working the way that you think people will want it to work. And you might
in prototype world.
In prototype world.
Okay.
Yes. Generally speaking, that's an earlier step in the process, and then.
So that would be minimal but not viable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you still have to actually build a product and release an actual product.
Okay.
Something has to be in market for it to be an MVP.
Really?
Yes.
It's not just an experiment.
Not at all.
Okay.
No, it's got to be out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a V1 or a beta or something,
generally
right?
speaking, that's your V1.
Okay.
Yeah. Some products, Fortnite was out for like 4 years before they called it V1. They were like, it's beta. They were just using that to skirt around rules. The thing's got to come out. My friend Mig Reyes, who's currently at Duolingo, like a decade ago, put this in my head, and he was like, "Oh, neat award. What did you ship?" It's the difference between graphic design and product design is like in graphic design or maybe advertising, like, hey, your awards matter.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter at all. What matters in products is what did you ship? So your MVP, following along with that, is just the thing that ships. Okay, so it's got to ship. Generally speaking, it's V1. Now, here's the dream. Let me paint a picture for you. Do you remember? I'm going to... Hang on.
Are you doing live research?
I want to say it was a coffee app. A
coffee
app. It was drinks. It was bourbon.
Okay.
So Instagram. Here's the fairy tale is Instagram. An app apparently called Bourbon, according to AI. I don't know if it was an AI answer, so I don't know if it really was. But it was like, rate this drink and take a picture of it. That was their MVP. That was their first version of Instagram. And the feedback they got was, we really like the taking pictures part. You guys did a really good job on that part. We didn't really care about reviewing the drinks. But
it's not a drink app.
Instead of taking a picture of my drink, I took a picture of all of my friends out drinking. And then they're all on the app too, and they got to see those photos and they got to post their own. And we really like that photo part of your app. Mm-hmm. And then they did maybe the most mythological pivot in digital products, which is going from we're app about rating drinks to Instagram. And even V1 Instagram before it became acquired and became its whole thing.
So when was all that testing done?
Oh, I have no idea when they tested. So that was not in testing. That was in release.
That was in release?
Yeah, they made bourbon and shipped it. And again, God, I'm so sorry it was an AI response. They made their first app that was not called Instagram, and they shipped it.
Okay. When did it turn in to Instagram?
Sometime later.
Okay.
So
yes, Unicorn
months.
Pivot.
Yes.
Goes from bourbon rating app to what we know is Instagram.
Yeah. So we provided value.
Yeah.
In our real live product. People used it, and we gave this feedback, and then that feedback told us where to go, and we didn't overplan, and we can move away from what we thought we were going to do to what our audience wants us to do, and then it just grew and grew and grew. Mm-hmm. And not only in its feature set and capabilities, but also in its audience and the number of people that it was connecting with. And it was very much a right app at the right time thing. But in terms of like the mythological story and the fairy tale of the MVP, that's your best case example. Can I tell you, Megan?
You can tell me anything.
What normally happens?
Oh, that's what I'm more interested in.
Okay. The board of directors says we need a piece of software that does this. Maybe MVPs are still fantastic for startups. Maybe they're still fantastic for small teams. It has been adopted industry-wide. And so what happens is you get a board of directors together and they say, we're going to do a piece of software that does this. Product teams who have got all their gumption up. And I've known so many product people who are wonderful, and I don't want to put them down as an entire practice. I am a product person now, but also so then it's just, so what's the MVP of this? We've got to get something out that provides value minimally in a certain amount of time because we're being given this amount of budget to make this thing.
Make something?
Yes. And so they really start focusing in on that minimal. And then they show the worst graphic in product design. And this is when you clip this later, Megan, I'm going to put right hand up right here. There's like a roller skate, a skateboard, a bike, maybe a scooter or a motorcycle, a car, and then an airplane. I was like, boom, put them up.
Is this the crawl, walk, run thing?
A little. I'm not as familiar with.
Okay.
No, not really. No, okay. It's probably a well-intentioned graphic that's absolutely destroyed product planning. It's you build that your bourbon app is the roller skate, and then the skateboard is Instagram, and then eventually you have an airplane when you're bought by Facebook. So it's terrible for so many reasons, but it gives people the excuse to say, if my board of directors has asked for an airplane, it's okay for me to tell them the plan is to ship a roller skate because MVP, and we'll come up with our roadmap, and we'll listen to our people, and eventually we'll get to that airplane you asked for. In the meantime, the business needs an airplane, and what you've shipped is a roller skate. Which, again, for our young ears, please turn away. A roller skate is a really shitty airplane, Megan.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Why aren't you shipping a kite?
Could be a kite.
At least it's in the air.
It's not my graphic. Anyway, but that's the idea is, what I've learned from making a roller skate, I can apply to making this skateboard. I can apply to making this bicycle or motorcycle, however it goes. And every time when we clip this, I want to see little pictures popping up. Anyway. So, but the problem is, in practice, you can't build from a roller skate into a skateboard. You cannot build from a skateboard into a bicycle. When you apply that kind of thinking and planning and methodology, what you're really attempting is to rebuild your product from scratch each time.
Every time.
What you should be doing is, if it's been asked of us from the business to deliver an airplane, you need to start learning everything you can about how airplanes come together and start working on that task. You do not need to ship as your MVP the greatest, most enormous luxury airliner of all time, but you could ship a prop plane. You could ship, just a little stunt dude, but it's still, at the end of the day,
it still has the essence
for the needs of the business. You gotta get them a plane. You can't get them a goddamn roller skate. And so what you wind up doing, and this really happens, Megan, all the time. It is a thing that must be combated on the daily, is shipping a roller skate as a really shitty airplane. Happens all the time. And then what you get is you don't get a chance to respond to feedback. You don't, because the feedback you're getting is not valuable. It's, I thought I was going to download an airplane here, and I got a shitty roller skate, and I don't care about that, so I'm going to delete the app. Deleting the app, by the way, is what we used to call catastrophic customer experience failure. Like, it is an unrecoverable state wherein your core customer who already went and took the chance and downloaded your app deletes it off their phone and will never think of your company again because it was so bad. Because when they opened up your piece of software, it missed expectations by so much that they're done with you forever. Had to have that conversation many times too, and thankfully I think we've mostly avoided those in my times. But the idea of, if my actual business goal is here, and you don't ship anything meaningfully towards that goal, you've missed the idea of what an MVP is supposed to be.
Is that because the value prop was off?
It's usually because it's not there.
It's missing altogether.
It's usually because it's missing altogether. Because, again, the minimal is very easy to plan for. The valuable, and you and I run into this. The value proposition of any product is very tough to pin down before people can actually use it, especially if you're going into a space, brand new, or you're trying to disrupt something, or, do something that hasn't been done before. It's very difficult to plan for. So again, that works great for startups. That works great for really small businesses or studios, perhaps like ours. In a company of any moderate size, that approach can lead to some real risks and challenges.
Yeah.
You can identify with careful planning with some experienced people, like what is a good MVP for the end result the business is asking for. But if you're just like, what's the smallest thing I can ship?
That's not it.
You can wind up doing a lot of damage by shipping a terrible version of the thing that you're being asked to make.
Should your MVP, when you've decided on the minimal shippable thing and you're trying to figure out the viability, like what is the value prop we're testing? Should it be testing mechanics of the riskiest assumption? I mean, is that fair to say? Like, what is the thing we don't know? What is the biggest risk in this process? And is that what we're looking for feedback on?
I see where you're coming from with that potential approach. Generally, I would say and in that any MVP is really, testable in some way, I think you kind of actually want to start from some solid ground.
Okay, so that is what I'm wondering. How much input are you getting? You should be getting like signals, right? Market signals before you're even starting to create, even starting to build, right?
Should be.
I mean, you should be getting something from marketing or sales or user research or marketability to figure out like the validation signals for a product. Yes?
Yes. Have you ever worked on a project where you haven't received any research before you had to?
Oh gosh.
Sadly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it still happens all the time.
But it still happens.
Yeah.
Even
on huge investments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's puzzling to me.
Because
of a huge investment, there's no systemized way to get that those validation signals and that information input so you can make your MVP as great as it can be.
Well, then we start talking about like internal and intrinsic rewards for the management chain who's ultimately responsible for a product.
Yeah.
That's a different.
It feels political then.
If Chuck if Chuck the VP way up, I'm not referencing anyone when I say Chuck, by the way. If he gets a bonus if they ship, whether or not it performs after 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
But he still gets that bonus if they ship in December. Guess what? You're gonna ship something in December.
I know, but here's the.
And that's a whole other
marketing to me is left holding the bag then. Because you may make a thing, ship a thing, check, and now marketing has to make it sell.
Yeah.
When some of the testing may have been off the rails. Or things weren't tested.
Everyone hates this thing.
Yeah.
Everyone hates
or
the
no
thing
one
we made.
needs it.
Megan,
Or
what do you do? What do you do when you have to when what do you do when everyone hates the thing you've made?
Well, you figure
Not
out
that
why
you've ever been in that position.
I would do the postmortem and figure out where things went awry and what information we did not have.
Do you remember when we were adjacent to Gatorade?
Yeah.
I don't think that either one of us ever touched that business, but we were adjacent. And I remember discovering there was like a Gatorade protein Gatorade something.
Oh.
And I was running a lot at the time, and I had gotten into running, and I was doing the loop. I got to the point where I was doing the loop around the airport, and I felt pretty good.
those were the days,
man.
Yeah,
that was like when I was trying to do 5Ks and stuff. I led the corporate challenge 5K, and everyone was super mad at me because I had the slowest time, but I was coordinating it, so you couldn't have me not on the team. That was amazing.
That's strategy.
That was my only because we'll talk later about getting cut from the tug of war team. Anyway, during that time, they had like a strawberry kiwi Gatorade drink. Oh my god, it was strawberry kiwi. One of my top flavor mixes, and just loved it. And I was like, oh man, and I was walking by one day, and I think I had one. I was like, oh man. How's this? You guys out there promoting this? Because this is a banger. This is it. And they're like, Nate, everyone hates that drink. And
except you.
Except me. And I was the only one. And the answer at the Gatorade scale was apparently just stop making that drink. And I was sad a year, 6 months to a year
There's
later.
Always one. There's always
one. Yeah. That was the ultimate answer. So the ultimate answer is don't make products that people hate. Flatlander.studio coming at you.
Which hey,
give us a ring.
That tees us up because our USP is to make things that people love. Right? That is our USP.
So our approach to MVPs is maybe a little favored towards customer value. And that's been proven time and time again because you stay on people's phones. They don't delete your app. And as long as you're on their phone, they are a customer. Did I say that right? As long as you're on their phone, they are a customer of yours, and that's where you want to be. Staying on a phone is one of the hardest things you can do in software, and the only way you're going to stay on that phone is if you are over delivering for the people who download it. That's why you'll see. What was it? 10 years before Twitter made any money at all, but they just kept getting audience and audience and audience and audience.
Building.
That's and funding by investors. So great. But that's where you want to be. You want to be building your audience, building your scale by over delivering on their behalf. And if you get a little bit less than that, but still, if I don't want to say less than the marks you need for your business, but getting greedy on your side early and under delivering for your audience is a great way to get deleted.
Yeah, I just deleted 10 apps from my phone.
Did you really?
This week. Mm-hmm.
That's got to feel great.
Yeah,
it
did for me.
I wish that I could be in a spot where I'm just like, I'm app guy and that's how I make my life. And I wish that I downloaded more, but I'm like, man, I ain't downloading this. This is some gotcha game buster stuff.
Yeah.
You know what one of my favorite things is?
What?
Apple Arcade.
Really?
Yes. You know why?
No.
Because nothing. Well, it's a subscription. So nothing costs anything, and they don't allow in-app purchases. So every game is just a game.
The game.
It's just, and it is a subscription, but every game is just a game.
That's fantastic.
And that's why, like, if my daughter, she has to ask my permission to download anything. If she sends me an Apple Arcade game, it's almost always an instant yes. So
that's great.
So I love that.
That's great. Okay, so my takeaway would be for an MVP, the value should already be somewhat determined. And is it the MVP's job to figure out a way to deliver that value in a way that works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Look at that. Oh, I figured it out. Okay. So I am thinking we're probably at the close of our
It's been an awesome episode, too. I want to thank the chat for sending 0 messages through, which makes the question and answer portion of our show very quick and efficient.
That's
great.
And
I'll put it out there like, hey, it says it's working, but all my other screens went dark, and I'm pretty sure my iPad is out of battery, so my ability to monitor via any other means is limited. But yeah, hey, man, if you guys tuned in today or tuned in years from now watching this on YouTube, thank you.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. I want to leave you with this. If you are making things, if you are part of a team that's making things for people, keep listening to those people. We'll be interested in seeing how Canva continues to do that with Affinity. If you are behind creating some MVPs, we're saying get some market signal input to make sure that your build tests as best as it can. Subscribe, like, follow.
Like, subscribe. We got Instagram, we got YouTube, we got LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Which sometimes works for us.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We're gonna get that.
I know. So that's the latest from Flatlandery. Thank you for being here. Flatlandery is a show from Flatlander Studio where we believe that, grids are good and every button does what it's supposed to do.
I love that. Did you write that?
I just now.
That's great. That's how it works. The idea is just pop into our head, fully formed.
All right. We'll be back next time talking about how to design things that matter. Thanks. Peace out.